So you just saw my epic chess trailer and you want to learn how to play chess. No? What? What the So you want to learn how to play chess. So let's start with how to win a game. The objective of the game is to checkmate your opponent. But Greg, what is a checkmate? Well, my friend, I'm glad you asked. To answer your question, I'm going to turn to the internet's most reliable source, Wikipedia. So, here we go. But to understand what a king being in check or threatened with capture means, let's just take a step back and see what pieces we have in the game. Pawns, knights, bishops, rooks, queens, kings. Here we have a sequence of moves called the fried liver attack. The important thing to see here is that if your opponent's pieces annoy you, then you can just capture them, like this. Now let's take a look at how the pieces move. Pawns can only move forward by 1 square, but from their starting position they can go forward 2 squares. Also, it's important to note that they cannot capture pieces in front of them. They can only capture pieces diagonally. Knights move in an L shape, 2 squares in one direction and 1 in another. They can also hop over pieces, which is unique to them as there are no other pieces in the game that can hop over another piece. Bishops can only move diagonally. It's also important to note that if a bishop starts on a light square, it can only move to another light square. This is also true for the dark squares, and because of this, you may hear people refer to the bishops as dark squared or light squared bishops. Rooks are basically the opposite of a bishop, because they cannot move diagonally, but they move horizontally or vertically, any number of squares. Queens are like rooks and bishops combined. They are the most powerful piece in the game, as they can move diagonally, horizontally or vertically, any number of squares. Kings can only move 1 square, but they can move in every direction. It's important to note that your king cannot move to a square which is attacked by one of your opponent's pieces. A square is considered attacked if your opponent is able to move their piece to the square in the next move. Now that you know how pieces move, let's see how to checkmate our opponent to win the game. So if I move my rook here, that is a check, because I attacked the opponent's king, or I could also say that I threaten to take the king in the next move with the rook. Now in this position, the player with the black pieces has 3 options. They can block the check with the knight, so the rook won't be able to capture the king in the next move. They can capture the rook with the bishop, or they can move the king to a safe place. In this position, black cannot play anything else, because if he were to move some other piece, then the king would be captured. Now I rearranged the pieces a bit on the board, so let's take a look at this position. Now if I were to put my rook in the corner like before, then that would be a checkmate. Remember, in the previous position, black had 3 options to save the king, but as you can see in this position, black can no longer block the check with the knight, or capture the rook with the bishop, or move his king to a safe square. So this is a checkmate. Of course, there is much more that goes into playing chess. So if you want to learn how to play chess, if you want to improve your chess, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss next week's video. And with that said, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.